This great dun is sort of the one from Mary Orvis Marbury's book, Favorite Flies and Their Histories. The book was published in 1892. I'm tying the fly from the illustration in her book. I'm tying it on a number 10 sproat hook with claret thread. I'm using claret thread because that's the color of the head on the fly. I'm going to tie in some bicolor tinsel for the tag, tying it in with the gold side towards the hook. And then when I wrap, I will flip it so that the gold shows, and I'm going to just take 3 wraps is plenty down the back end of the bend, towards the bend, back end of the body towards the bend, and then bring my thread back so I can tie that off. I'll just wrap 3 over the top of that. I'm not going to wrap underneath because I want that tinsel to lay down flat and I don't want to bump there. Go ahead and clip the tinsel out. For the tail, I'm using 3 dun turkey feather barbs, and I want the tail to be the length of the body. It is actually a pretty long tail, so if it's a little bit longer than the length, I guess I'm okay. I'm going to try to keep that curve up to match the illustration. Wrap over that tail towards the tag and then back. I'll go ahead and take it all the way up to the front to keep that body even. Clip out the extra and then bring my thread back. The paragraph in Mary's book about this fly does say that the body is traditionally tied with bear. I don't have bear. I am just going to use some brown dubbing that I do have, and just wrap a fairly thick brown dubbing body. It's going to look like the underfur from bear might look, or I'm really going more for replicating the look of the illustration than necessarily using the ingredients as they were originally. Sometimes we just substitute ingredients because it's what we have, and I think this will work just as well as a bear underfur would work. Gives me the same appearance. Probably will act fairly similarly in the water, considering that this fly was prior to the dry fly craze coming to the United States. It is a great dun, and I'm supposing that means it's supposed to imitate the dun stage of a mayfly. I'm going to use a black feather for the front hackle, and I'm going to tie it in from the tip because I want the shorter barbs on this feather. So I'll clip the tip itself off and then wrap over that, and then I'll just wrap a number of wraps to get a fairly healthy front hackle, and I did tie it with the shiny side forward. That's supposed to get those hackle barbs to tip backwards. And I'm also going to wrap up over those barbs once I catch this feather in. I'll just take 3 wraps over the top of that rachis, and then I'm going to pull back on everything and wrap back up over it. That will lay the barbs back towards the bend of the hook, the way the illustration shows them. And then it'll also give me some room to tie in the wings behind the eye. And let's see if I can. Nope, it's not going to snap out, so I'm just going to have to clip that rachis and then just kind of fluff out the hackle. Maybe a little bit long, although fished as a wet fly, those longer barbs, longer hackle is okay. And let's split the hackle on top so I can tie the wing in. I'm going to take the wing material from 2 secondary flight feathers from a mallard wing, although again the notes in Mary's book say a mallard tail. I don't have a mallard tail, so I'm going to use these gray feathers, gray slips from the secondary flight feathers. So 2 slips, 1 from each of those feathers, about the width of the gape, and the length I want on them is approximately to the bend of the hook. So I'll tie them in with the raw sides down. Try to split this hackle, push it down on top. Just pinch the 2 slips, bring my thread up between my fingers, do a pinch wrap, come down under and grab the bottom of the hook, and then cinch up and wrap, and then take and stand that up properly. And I'm going to live with that. So wrap back away from the eye of the hook, keeping a nice firm pinch on the wing. And then I can pick up on the butt ends and just trim those out 1 or 2 at a time right close to the eye. Make sure that the eye is as clean as I can keep it. Now, Mary didn't have to worry about keeping eyes clean because the hooks that she tied on did not have eyes. They were called blind hooks, and instead of an eye on the hook, she had a piece of gut that is the insides from the silk moth caterpillar. I'm going to go ahead and put a whip finish I'm catching in a piece of hackle barb there, I think. Maybe not. Yeah, I do. And I'm going to have to clip that out. I will do that here in a second. Go ahead and just take my scissors and push it against the thread to cut it out. And then I'm going to take and see if I can clip out. Yeah, I think I got it. In a contemporary twist, I am going to put a drop of diluted goop. Stick my needle in my jar, grab a drop, put that on the head of the fly, and that will dry clear.